All right, Dev with Crime Hive. And we're talking about the Tiffany Valiante case. This was on Unsolved Mysteries, and it's a little bizarre because there are some unique circumstances with this case that make you feel that maybe there was foul play involved. Maybe it was murder instead of suicide, which is what police ultimately determined in this case. But let's talk about it. So, Tiffany Valiante, you can see her right here. I've got a website pulled up. This was the last footage of her leaving her house on foot, and she was later found dead, and I'll explain the circumstances around that. But it really takes place on July 12th, 2015, and she's at this party. It's a graduation party. She's across the street. I think it's her cousin's graduation. And according to guests there, she seems to be in good spirit. She seems to be happy. She's joyful. She's got a volleyball scholarship to college. Seems like things are going pretty well for her. And she leaves the party. Her parents are still there. And this is about 9:15 p.m. on July 12th, 2015. Well, her mother gets a phone call that Tiffany had used her friend's debit or credit card without her permission, so they wanted to speak to her about that. And so the parents leave the party, they show up, and Tiffany denies it initially, and then later admits to her mother that she did use her friend's credit card. Now, on Unsolved Mysteries, it's interesting because her parents explain on the show that, this was not like her to do that. And they taught her better than that. But there are some accounts that she's actually stolen from her parents before. She'd used their accounts and taken money from their bank without permission. And so she's done this before, some odd behavior. But by all accounts, she's a good student, doesn't really get into a lot of trouble. But there are some suspicious aspects about her behavior leading up to when she disappeared. So, according to family, she doesn't have any mental health issues. She doesn't take medication for mental health, no anxiety, depression that the parents or family have seen. But we'll talk more about that. There's some conflicting reports about her mental health. And so, anyway, going back to this card situation. So, her friend leaves with her mother. So Tiffany's sitting there with her mother, and the mother's like, well, I got to tell your father that you took her card. So she goes inside the house, and this is about 9:28 p.m. And this is when you see Tiffany leaving her house with this attire. So she's got some shorts on, a t-shirt, a headband, and she has shoes on. That's important later on as well. Now, a minute later, 9:29 p.m., parents come outside to talk to Tiffany about this issue with the credit card, and she's gone. She just disappeared. And so families start looking for her throughout the neighborhood. She's nowhere. Nowhere to be seen. It's dark, and apparently Tiffany's afraid of the dark, okay? And they're searching, and the father finds her cell phone about 5 to 8 feet away from the house, okay? So phone's found. She's not likely to be without her phone. She's never without her phone. She's younger. She lives with that phone. And it's on the ground. And she's gone. They're searching. They get other family involved in this search. Okay. So Tiffany's uncle is driving around, and this is about 2.6 miles away from their house. And he sees police activity around some railroad tracks, and he approaches and he actually asks police, looking for my missing niece, and what's going on here. Well, police are a little concerned because someone has been killed by a train on the railroad tracks, on the tracks there. And the uncle positively identifies Tiffany as the person being struck by this train. Now, there's some bizarre circumstances that we need to cover here, and I will do a part 2 if you guys are interested in that. and we'll pick up where she gets hit.